Hello, good morning, and welcome to yet another Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue here on the Happy World of 5FM Radio. We are so grateful that you found time to tune in, and of course, we are grateful also to our partner radio stations that are carrying this program live on their various platforms. We are grateful for that. Let me make mention of Katete FM Radio, and of course, based in Katete, covering Katete, Chadiza, Sinda, Lusangazi, Petauke, Kasemengwa, Mambwe, and Chipangali. We are also live on Spice FM in Kabwe, covering the Central Province on 91.1. By the way, let me make mention that Katete FM is on 103.3 FM. Okay, so Spice FM is on 91.1 in Kabwe and Central Province. Also ZFM in covering the greater part of Central Province going up north. And of course, live in Ndola on Platinum Radio, that is on 99.7 rather, and covering the rest of the Copper Belt. We are so grateful. Up north, we are live in Mansa on Tuta FM, and of course covering the rest of Luapula Province. And so we are also live on our Facebook page, that's 5FM Radio Zambia. Follow that page and like it, share it, and leave us a comment if you like. And also our YouTube channel is active. We are live on it, that is 5FM Zambia. I'm your host, Zachariah Banda. My guest today is Mr. Hari Kalaba. He is president of Citizens First political party, and it's always a pleasure to have you here, and we are grateful that you came.
Thank you very much for having me, Zach. I'm always also happy to be on the Happy World of 5FM. It's a privilege.
It's home now.
Home away from home.
That's right. That's right. And how is Citizen Party doing?
Well, our party has continued to make strides. We are just coming from two by-elections in Northwestern, so I was there.
Yeah.
And I must report that we are making tremendous progress as a party.
Yeah.
Especially in areas which were considered to be pro-UPND areas. The CF is making inroads. And we have to pat ourselves on the back. Somebody was telling me, no, but how can you celebrate you didn't win the elections? No. It's not a question of winning for us. It's a question of making inroads. It's a question of making strides. And we are making those strides in Northwestern Province. Remember, Kimasala Ward has got over 30,000 voters, I think. And the UPND who claimed to have won that seat only got 670 votes. That is after paving roads in Kimasala, that's after giving social cash transfer, that's after bribing voters so they can vote for them. Clearly, they have been rejected. And for us, we have seen an opportunity as Citizens First to push harder and make our point heard and known.
That to me indicates that there was voter apathy, if you're giving me those numbers in difference.
Serious voter apathy was there, serious voter apathy, because the people really have begun losing confidence in politics because of the many lies that were told to them by the current regime. They were promised heaven on earth, and they have failed to produce even a single bit of that. So people are disappointed, but we are telling them ourselves as Citizens First that not everything is lost. Muisakamana, don't worry. We here in the CF are here to work with you and ensure that we restore that confidence and hope which has been lost. And understandably, so you can hear our people. Their frustrations are justified because this is a government that promised the people of Northwestern Province that part of the monies that they are getting from their mines will be going into improving the province. That has not happened. The Northwestern Province remains as one of the most dilapidated provinces, undeveloped provinces, despite the scale of wealth that is existing in that province. And if we are Citizens First, natulanda okutira chibinda wabamba nokwakanya kuine akanye pantu ngamulembo mukuba mu Northwestern Province. The Kenya be Northwestern Province batampi okumfobu kumu bagwa mu Northwestern Province akachila kambu shikasengo lopo kekele tetimule pele nchende shimbi. Before you give the people who are producing that copper, you want all the monies to go. We in the CF have said that is coming to an end. We want a certain portion of the resources to remain in Northwestern Province because that area has to remain developed. And you know, Zach, that is how the Copper Belt developed as well. That's how Ndola, Kitu, and all these towns surrounding the Copper Belt came up. It's as a result of the copper that was being produced there. The same philosophy, the same principle has to apply on Northwestern Province.
I'm sure you're trying to hint that probably what is not enough is the amount of corporate social responsibility commitments that these mines have. Because I think they are doing what you asked them to do. Probably you want them scaled up?
Not necessarily the social corporate responsibility. It has to be more. There has to be a government policy of, let's say, 10% of whatever is gotten from Northwestern Province remains in Northwestern Province. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's what happens in China. That's what happens in these other countries. A certain portion of the wealth remains in that province so they can develop their own area. The Solwezi Municipal Council has to be helped not only to collect revenue from the councils and from the markets, but I think they need to be helped to also get appropriate revenue from the mining companies on the copper belt. In Northwestern Province, so that we can develop that area. Look at the township roads in Solwezi. Just look at Solwezi. Look at the amount of wealth we are getting out from there, and look at what we are giving Northwestern Province. Nothing. 78% of this country's exports is coming from the mining sector, and a huge chunk is coming from Northwestern Province. And yet Northwestern Province has remained undeveloped. No. We are going to change the status quo. We are going to change the way we play things, and we will do it real quick. We'll do it real quick.
I'm worried with the fact that you're pointing out voter apathy in the previous by-elections. I mean, do you foresee a translation into a general election? And what would that do if we are going to experience voter apathy to the general outlook of the election?
I'm not sure we're going to experience voter apathy in 2026. I don't think so. I don't think so. We are experiencing voter apathy because, look, it's a by-election. People look at a councillor. If the MP there has failed to deliver development, people say, what will the councillor do? What will the councillor do if the MP, who is also the chief whip in Parliament, has failed to deliver development in that particular area in Solwezi Central? What will the councillor do? So people sit back and say, look, let's just teach them a lesson in 2026. After all, it's just 8 months remaining. And even in these remaining few months, nothing is going to change. But let's register. And many of them have registered en masse, waiting to punish the UPND in 2026. No amount of lies will make the UPND survive. They are resolved in Northwestern Province. And I can tell you, I'll be going back there in the next very few weeks to go and thank the people of Kimasalawad for the support that they have given us. We don't care about the number of votes they gave us. Those same people who gave us the votes require our attention so that they can go and encourage others to vote for us next year.
Indeed. Let's talk about the elephant that is still in the room, the demise of former president. I haven't had a conversation with you since that happened. It's the first time we are hearing from you since that time. What is your view on what has panned out to be now?
My view, my personal view?
Yeah.
My personal view is that I am disappointed that we have failed to bury the former head of state in a matter that is befitting a man that ruled the country for 7 years. Valungu valitekele chino chalo for 7 years. Muvatemwena mutamubatemenwa. The fact is, vali va president wa Zambia for 7 years. Olote umuntu amitekele 7 years. After 5 June. Ilelo, pa 15 July. He is almost 2 months. Alife mu fridge mwali musungo muntu. Bantu tamule fire mushike mule fokusa mushika kuno kwenye kulusaka. Na lela ndabuda kushikona another media platform. I was saying, my family ngana abalanda okutira balungu abashike ku South Africa tuyipatikisha ebene ba mubiri lupwa abali ku bedside yabalungu lupwa government yalipo ku bedside yabalungu abatwele balungu ku hospital lupwa government yaliko eko nafuma tulanda tuyipape mfwa kubulwele ngatawaliko. Don't be surprised about the death of somebody if you are not there when they were sick. So, Balungu's sufferings were all known and borne by the family. This halabaloo about the state saying they have to get involved is strange, extremely strange. So for me, my personal view is that tuchindike ba family efe balefwaya pali ino nshita baleke balungu batushe muchiwote ikafike nshita abene ba family nga bakutuluka bapitulukamo bamuno kutilo kweno uyu muntu limbi nomba chalinga ino nshito kumutwala ku Zambia kuyalala bakaleta umubiri wa balungu yaine nshita na yafika kwali bano kwimburule chitumbi mwashika. I was saying the other day also that what has happened to President Lungu is not new, to be buried outside his own country. And I was giving an example of our great Pan-Africanist, Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown in 1966 on his way to Hanoi, going Vietnam. He was in China when the Chinese authorities told him that you have been overthrown by the military and the police in Accra. Kwame Nkrumah stayed in Ghana for 4 days, and his friend then, Ahmed Sokotore, the president of Guinea Conakry, invited Kwame Nkrumah to go and stay in Guinea Conakry and observe the situations, the situation in Ghana as it was panning out. But maybe when the situation improves to Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah can go back to Ghana. Unfortunately, in 1971, Kwame Nkrumah fell ill and he was evacuated to Bucharest in Romania. He died in Romania of prostate cancer. And Secretary again, his friend of Guinea Conakry, went and collected the remains of Kwame Nkrumah and took them to Guinea Conakry, gave him a state funeral with full military honors in Guinea Conakry, and buried him in Guinea Conakry. The authorities, the military junta that had overthrown Kwame Nkrumah, asked for the remains of Kwame Nkrumah to be transported to Ghana. Guinea Conakry president that time, Secretary, refused. He said, you never respected Kwame Nkrumah when he was alive. You never cared about Kwame Nkrumah when he was alive. Why do you want his dead body now? And you want to honor his dead body? The military junta at that time understood and allowed Secretary to bury Kwame Nkrumah. Later on, yes, the remains were transported to Accra after the West African Community, ECOWAS, got involved. And the remains were taken to his native village in Western Ghana. The point I'm trying to make is, the military junta still went ahead and gave Kwame Nkrumah the full military honors, even when his remains were being put down, buried in Guinea Conakry, the neighboring country. They still gave him the full military honors in absentia. If it is about giving Balungu the full military honors, you can still give him the full military honors when he's being buried in South Africa. You can give him those military honors. Pantu.
But it's, I mean, give it to him while here in Zambia?
Yes, you can give it to him in absentia. You honor people posthumously. Tabali Popat, you are honoring them. Even Balungu, you can give him the 21-gun salute as a former commander-in-chief of the armed forces of this country. You can still give him those honors when his remains are still in South Africa. You can do that. The same way the military junta did in Ghana. Because the family, again, at that time, talked with President Sekou Toure and said, we don't want the remains of Kwame to be transported to Accra. We don't want. And Kwame Nkrumah, until when things changed in Accra, that is when Kwame Nkrumah Guinea Conakry bawufunya kudya bawutwana kugana kubamushika kumushikumiabo. After some time again, I think that was in 1992 when Jerry Rawlings was president of Ghana, asalando kutila awe teti Kwame Nkrumah mumushike kumushikumiabo, Kwame Nkrumah mufire mushike kuno ku Accra pano pene panche ndo pwa iminine to proclaim that Ghana had gotten its independence. I think it's in 1956 or so, or 1957, I don't know, I don't know very well. But he said, bring him here where he made this proclamation, Again, Badia Mushukulula Kwame Nkrumah, from his village in Western Ghana, Bamuleta na Mwakra, Mwamushika, up to today. That's the history. So, na ifwewe ne mno Mzambia, tuipatikisha, ukuboko papotoku mine, wa Edgar Lungu, ulupu alwabu na lando kutita, wale ifwa ba Lungu, balale muno.
despite the status that he is former president.
Despite
And how does barring the former president in a foreign country affect the diplomatic standing of this country at the global community?
Nothing affects the president, the diplomatic relations if a former president is buried in another country. There's nothing that happens because the South African government has got laws. South Africa, South Africa, Minister of Foreign Affairs, alishire kuno ku Zambia. Minister of Foreign Affairs wa South Africa alishire kuno ku Zambia nokubaba president besu ukuthi yela uyu ntwanikani Edgar Lungu ulupwalo wako nalando ukuthi yela bashike ku South Africa. Ifenga South African government that was advise ukuthi yela kwena ngachaliwa umuntu watekele chalo for 7 years ayalale ku Zambia. Ulupwana lukana tipantu tamwale umfwana nankwe elwali umumi mwamutekele kumunga wefu afua. So nabakano kutila Lungu mpasho wakata wakatushe mchivote imwe nga mwapalaminako twamfwana no kuyaya lulia aya ayo kutila South Africa mafunde tayakanya ukushika umuntu kulo ulupanga wana titubalala kula tapali ubwafi twali ku South Africa wonse uko twayile kula tushike balungu twamfati kuli injunction mulando uli ku court na lelo Pretoria kanshi tulelo lela twalanda nefingi tulelo lela tukomvefe a court ya lalanda pa 4th August balungu mubili wabo nga ukabwera kuno nangu mubili wabo kala ku South Africa nomba ine kuna pafe kwa ba president HH umunene mwali muchushisholo ali umuntu lekeni atushe ko muchibote mulekeni Lungu atushe muchibote ave eko family ile mfuaya bantu nangu mwapa t-shirt ese kuno mukese mulishe shishine mfute tama 21 gun salute umuyini umpashi wako ngeta ule fuaya tabapatikisha ukuangala tabapatikisha lekeni balungu atushe muchibote Kalaba isa next year bali bu president elo na isanga president next year tukasendo mubili wa balungu nokuweta muno Zambia batwalanda no lupwanga lwasumina pantu kulanda no lupwa kuchi ndiko lupwa ebe ne balufishe kulanda no lupwa Zambia na ilufia ate macro level Zambia na ilufia nomba ate micro level abalufishe bakashi bana beshikulu bepwa bankashi yakwe Edgar Lungu and so on and so forth ebalufishe pantu ulia ali mulo pawabo tuye ukoti for tupatikisha tiyo kama fefoni for tushike pantu umuntu ani president chaka.
Let's shift our attention to what is burning now, the Constitution Amendment Bill 7. A week ago it looked a dead matter, but it's very much actively alive, based on what the Speaker of the National Assembly said, that she does not recognize the ruling of the Constitutional Court. And so Laz has equally decided to take it further. What is your position around this, considering that you've been in Parliament before?
The first thing I'll tell you is that Bill 7 should not even have found itself on the floor of the House. Why do I say so? It should not have found itself on the floor of the House because there are certain procedures in which a bill, especially one which is concerning amendments to a constitution, should follow. You know that from 1964, when we had the first Constitutional Review Commission of Comrade Mainza Chona, they had to go around the country. Then we have had Constitutional Review Commissions in Mwanakatwe, Mungomba. All these had to go all over the country to get the views of the citizens and then input those decisions and bring them to the floor of the House where it is debated. It is a first in the history of constitutional amendments that we have had a bill conjugated at Community House, taken to the Ministry of Justice, and taken to Parliament for approval. It's a first. The rule of the game when we're dealing with the Constitution, because it is a people's document, any adulteration on the Constitution must be with the consent of the people. The people must agree. In this instance, the people have not agreed. Who are the people? It is the church. The church has said they were not consulted. Who are the people? It is non-government organizations. They have said they were not consulted. Who are the people? It is us in the political circles, representing various our political interests. We were not consulted. The larger scale of individuals, the populace of this country, was not consulted on Bill 7. That's why I am shocked myself that our president can still be talking about Bill 7. When today you and I are seated, that is not the most urgent matter. The most urgent matter that the people are struggling with, Malite, Mozambique. Come on, Malite, Mchala. Valest Shamalite. Avala and Tavago Malite. Ava Iche, Nama barber shops. Tavago Malite. Leadership wanted to use the youths and the women. Ugutila, I want to have represented. But the president can have more opportunities of appointing people every other week. He appoints Samantu. And he doesn't appoint Abaiche. He was appointing last week my permanent secretaries. There were no youths there. The president has got a provision of appointing or nominating 8 members of parliament. No youths has he appointed there. He has 116 districts, right? 116 district commissioners. No youths there. There are only about 2 or 3. The rest Vakalambane. Then he comes to you and he tells you, when my youths, when sepe na limite mwasana, defa tuombe depa mo, so ibiu ngamai pisha, nishama youths mwaingira parliament, ma jokes are, yokwanga loko. Even by president for once take us seriously as a country. Ibiu 7, even Concord na imiebo kutila. Tamwako nkele procedure, iya kutuala Bill 7 mu parliament. And in fact, the Concord is not even talking about what the Speaker of the National Assembly is talking about. The Concord is talking about the procedure of taking a bill to Parliament. Whether the bill should come back because Parliament is independent is another story. The Concord's argument has been that they did not follow procedure in taking that bill to Parliament. Therefore, that bill must be deferred and it must follow the rightful process, so that it is a people's bill which will be translated into law when the president assents to it. As at now, we should not even be wasting time talking about Bill 7. Why do you want people to change? Nish fair constitution pali noshta. Nish fair isa. Ya kutila wami wati constitution peso loleni. Kwa shala fe 8 months. 8 months esheleko. Before we start filing in of nominations for councillors. Why would you want to start fidgeting around with the constitution? Umuswamata yobutukilafi nishipali chimo. Emuna andui neto lombabe na Zambia. You have seen for yourselves that our colleagues in UPND don't mean well. They don't mean well. Because if they meant well, they would have been listening to what the people wanted. But they don't want to listen to the people. That is where the problem is. If they meant well, they should have been fulfilling the promises which they gave the Zambian people. Bali la idea bene. Atubunga bukachipa kwa 50 kwachi. Bunga takwachipa. Bali la idea bene. Utila dola ikabwela panshi. Dola tayabwela. Bali la idea bene fena kanu akabu. Utilo mufundo kuma farmers ukatete. Ma farmers ukatete. Mazambo lima chimanga. Chambiri maningi. Chukua fertilizer yao izapaka. Fertilizer na manje kaibu opaka. Vantu wasta struggle with fertilizer. 61 years after independence. Emulandu ine ifwenga ba CF. Tuela ndilo kutila. Bakaunda bale baseka. Yo bakaunda tabasambirira. Bakaunda tabasambirira. But bakaunda bashasambirire. Bali pangile nitrogen chemicals of Zambia. Kuka fiwo oko bale pango mfundo bakaunda. No mfundo bakaunda bale panga. Wale fika munchende shonse. Kuisoka ukatete kusangazi chadiza yenzo fika fertilizer na chimanga bantu wenzolima Western Province. But today we are importing fertilizer from Ukraine, importing fertilizer from Russia. Na masaka ekubika mwamataba we are importing from China. Ifanga tuwaisanga ba citizens first. Na tulando kutila keji tula chita import ya masaka. 61 years after independence, amasaka fye twalipweta na ba Kifco kukabwe abale panga masaka. Ama companies ya palanga Kifco afile ya abuela akabuela shana ambananda Kalaba landa fie she landa fie ini na alimoni for Singapore yaika na alimoni for Malaysia yaika lo na foreign affairs minister na alimona no kumona okutila ngana mukwato utungulu shubu afumaluka not businessman ngana mukwata umubo mfi wafumaluka filamu akwete bakaunda filamu akwete ba sata ba chiluba ba mwana wasa ba rupia banda ba Edgar Lungu shirentungulu shishali temenwe chalo shirentungulu shi tashayibi mbide mfya business amakwebo pantu umulimo wandinga president te wama tenders yo umulimo wandinga president kumuno kutila imiti mufpatelo mushiri umulimo wandinga president kumuno kutila ama yango drivers abene bale chusha abakutila bali lande mpine emishitu bali lande kutila tulechula kuma yango drivers tababo mfwa mulimo wandi kumfwa nokumona ninshira national afira mu taxi driver nama yango drivers pantu bale chula umulimo wandi ngakateka wachalo. It is to ensure that the farmers are protected. It is to ensure that debt swap ya isamuli chino ichalo pantu. We can't have civil servants, Zach. When they get paid, their BP shoots. When they get paid, that's what I like kupatala ngupimshati. The BP yakwela. Nishwafola. Nishmashpat is the problem. That is why we need to start afresh. We need to help the civil servants do a debt swap so that they can have their pay slips cleaned and we start a new chapter. This is an idea which was mooted by us and we'll come and implement it next year when we form government.
How do you explain the fact that I'm glad you've mentioned on the dollar, obviously kwacha gaining against the dollar. You've talked about the minimum price. Yes, it may not have reduced significantly to how the ruling party now, then in opposition, were promising in terms of the pricing, but we have seen some drastic drop in the price of fuel, minimum itself. And of course, the kwacha is gaining as well against convertible foreign currencies. I mean, we've seen this in the past month or so now. How do you explain that? I mean, isn't that responding to this government's economic policies?
No, sir. When you say that the kwacha is appreciating against other convertible currencies, now masangile kwacha, yali pali 117 kwacha to $1. Elo mwai tuala kuli 28 kwacha to $1. Elo mwai wesha pali 23 kwacha or 24 kwacha to $1. Nishi mastafo few promise mwala njilo kutila ikabu yala kuli 6 kwacha to $1. Muno wala yomsunga. Wendo wako mkomana. Fika balu mbwile ba president ni 6 kwacha au 3 fwaya. Fika balu mbwile ba president kubunga. Te 180, te 205, te 170, balu mbwile 50 kwacha. Eyo tule fwaya. Ningo sawa mona. Nokwimbo kosi. Bale papa kalama. Kamulandu wakutila. Ichino wampofuta chawa. Imokulande finte fita wishibe wino. Ule filanda fie. Pakuti ulo senda ma votes. Tachawa machidia. Tulefu aba president besu ba HH. Bafikiri shobula yo bala iyo kutila. Ama ministers yabo. Tia kalenda mma GX. Tuba tuwebe. Ile ilungu matimu na ministers yabo. Wenda mma GX. Na waya gola mwane mibili shirisha yabo. Tulefu aba minister. Bende mma mwetu kwa president wa tuwebe. Tulefu aba president wa tuwebe. Elo bala njilo kutila. Benanga ba isa. Imisepe la shesu. Mno Zambia. Shikengire shanchi to ma ministries na ma companies. Tasha ingira. Batu webe dokutia load shedding benanga baisa. Ikapua. Load shedding number. Elo ifikienda pali Antoine kane pa stage where we have never experienced it before in our country. 16 hours of load shedding. And we have continued to export power to Namibia. The Namibians came in this country, you remember Zach? They came at the office of the vice president there to thank our vice president Wesu. No kwata kone Nelson wa vice president nabo. Kwanda fikutila yomu isaka matakula mipela. Vanamibia wala njilo kutila abula imwe ba Zambia. Katuika lomu afida. Nomba ba Zambia mwaliwa winonga ba neba. Ba vice president yemu kwa ito atote atakula miafu. Nomba mle yafu wa Namibia. Mle yafu wa South Africa 100 megawatts through the SADC Power Pool Agreement. Mle yafu wa DRC Congo 120 megawatts. Na contract yali ipo ya kupela wa Kongo ama light. Government went ahead and renewed. It's a problem. It's almost 2 years. Zambia has been in darkness. Now, but Malawi. We laugh at Malawi. No, Malawi to Adibachila. To go no Kulanda Malawi to Adibachila. Malawi by to Chila because of Malawi. But what Malite. Kumalawi Malite, I fell out of Zambia. Ba Mozambique to Abachila. By to Chila Mozambique. By what Malite. Ba Botswana by to Chila. By what Malite. By Tanzania. By what Malite. If I talk about Malite. I don't know the Foreign Affairs Minister. Zach. Now, I need Russia. Pamana Vaya Shivam Siska. Or to I look at Russia. To Alefa Yokutila. To send it. Idia plant of Abuchongo nuclear plant. We wanted that plant to begin producing 20,000 megawatts of power every day. 20,000 megawatts of power. And we signed the agreements. Part of the agreement was we are going to get these young guys in universities who were good at sciences to go and read nuclear science in Moscow. Then they would come back and manage our plant as they were building it here. The program started rolling. Because in my mind then as foreign minister, I was very clear that the only agenda Zambia is going to get out of these challenges is through industrialization. Zambia kuti afie pantanchi ama industries inga yabwela. Pantu, muri chino echalo, twalikwata soya beans. In this country twakwata soya beans. But ama soya chunks afuma ku Tanzania. Eba tupangila. In this country twalikwata copper. But in polo shesu. China. In this country, twalikwata sunflower. But salad yeso tuleno ile fuma Zimbabwe. 61 years after independence, tulalima cotton in Zambia muno. Tulalima cotton. But amala ngeti yeso ile fuma ku DRC Congo. Ifitenge fyeso ile fuma ku DRC Congo. Muli chino chana tobacco tulalima. In Eastern Province, I was moving in Eastern Province a month ago or so. Going into Lundazi. It's all tobacco area. All tobacco is gone, side by side with maize, you know. But our tobacco is processed in Malawi, not in Zambia. How can you create jobs like that? Unless the mindset changes, unless we agree that our mindset must be transformed and we begin value addition on what we are doing, Zambia will not make progress. And therefore, I have a problem even with appreciation of the kwacha. Because for me, in simple economics, the kwacha will not gain value if your export ratio or your export portfolio is not enhanced. What are we exporting for the kwacha to appreciate? Either the appreciation is cosmetic, meaning it's artificial, it will not last. That is why already we are seeing that the kwacha is already facing challenges. Remember. Number it's going back 23, 24, 25. It is because we have not had something substantive we are exporting to keep the kwacha stronger. The other point is we have allowed mining firms who are getting a lot of dollars from our mineral process to be exporting or to be externalizing the dollars. They sell our copper in Geneva. The money remains in Geneva. It is not coming back in Zambia to help stabilize your kwacha. It is not. So the kwacha remains weak. To make decisions of that nature, sir, you need a leader that is fair. You need a leader that is strong, like the one you're talking to. Because those jokes of selling our products in this country, it will not happen. We need monies. Not that we want to control their monies, no. Get me right? But when you sell our copper, at least give Bazanako, give Indo-Zambia Bank some business by letting your kwachas or letting your dollars stay in their bank accounts. Even for 5 days, that is a lot of money in the economy. It changes a lot of things because they will have interest that they will have gained just for having their money sitting in those accounts. But that is not happening. That is where we have a problem. The other issue which we will exploit when we come into government as citizens first is the issue of these same mines, our mines. We are losing a lot of money in our mines. A lot of revenue is being lost. We only talk about copper. Copper today, if my memory serves me right, is selling at about $9,637 per metric ton. I think so. $9,637 per metric ton. Cobalt is selling, I think it's going at about $33,335 per metric ton. You hear those figures? Cobalt is $33,000. Copper is $9,000. To understand the copper. And yet nobody talks about cobalt. And yet upper the copper is not cobalt opposite. Those things move side by side. We are not talking about cobalt. To understand the copper. Where is our cobalt? Where is our cobalt? World Bank. When we have got a lot of resources in that form, nobody talks about emeralds, which we are digging from the copper belt. Nobody talks about those emeralds. It's because to go to leadership, you are involved in my businesses. If you're name you will go ukupeshe lungu kwenda mu. Ngashimeni kwa maga yabu president next year. Hello mukamoni. Whether people will not be declaring cobalt. Hello mukamoni. Whether emerald will not be seen for what it is. Hello mukamoni. Ukutila mining in this country, small scale mining will be restricted only to Zambians. We will not allow foreigners to be involved in small scale mining. The problem we have in Mufumbo is because there are a lot of foreigners there in Mufumbo who have gone to mine gold, and our government, instead of giving our people some time, 3 months, wind up your activities before we bring in a structured way of mining, and together with Kawombere Pamo, they remove the people immediately who are trying to earn a living. The locals of Mufumbo, that are sangire, they are good Kurabe Kalapantu, our sangire, they are good Teba government. Bantu abe kala Korea. Eva sangira kunukunche kuli gold. Elwa government ba ishiba. So, pamula anduwa icho, kuwa pela kofi omuchinji. Our state discovered gold kunoko it was very paramount. But we go there, harass the people, and you blockade the whole area. 120 kilometers of that same gold-rich area, Moaisala. And on the other hand, you are going to parliament to ask for a budget, 33 billion kwacha, 34 billion kwacha, but a supplementary budget. Please give me a break. There's a problem in the leadership cycle in this country. We have to break that monotony, and we'll break it next year.
I don't know how you intend to do it, considering that, look, five years, it's testament that 5 years in leadership is very little time to turn things around. I mean, this government, you probably need to understand the fact that they took over government at the time it was highly indebted. You have to think about the fact that you've got debt that is suffocating you, yet you need to as well resuscitate a dying economy at the same time. How then do you do you maneuver those two?
Look, first of all, that's why I'm talking about the minerals that we have found. We have sugilite in this country. What government did was to ban sugilite when the head was hot on the market. We have gold in Kasenseli in Munilunga. We have gold now in Mufumbo. We have gold in Kanyelele in Impika. Those are monies that government should have been realizing. Do you know how much it is a kg of gold? It's going at about $60,000 per kg. $60,000 per kg. If government was serious about even dealing with monies, we would have used our only local resources to even pay back the debt. But we are failing to do that because there are so many business interests. Too many business interests are at play. Citizens, they want to survive. So when people who should control the system are the ones who are also constipating the process, the problem comes in there. That is why we are saying it's not a question of time, it's a question of leadership. And I'll give you an example to justify that. Mr. Sata, may he so rest in peace. I happen to be his member of parliament for Bahati. I happen to be his deputy minister. I also happen to be his minister. And I went and got his body from London here, up to here, Zambia. Basata, strictly speaking, only ruled this country for 2 years. But to the third year, Basata, he was in and out of hospital, if you remember. He was in Israel, Baku India, Baku London, Baku. But only 2 years, Basata Bali me. In 2 years, Basata Bali Pangile, Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. In 2 years, my president Satabali program, ya link Zambia 8,000. Imisevo, Bambio Kupange Imisevo, all over the country in 2 years. In 2 years, Badetele paved Zambia 2,000. Iyo Batampilo Pangama township roads. Maka Wata Monsemolia, Machilenjo Mshali Imisevo, Basatrai to Emo Imisevo. In 2 years, Minasoko Hospital was refurbished. In 2 years, Simon Masaka Pueblo Airport was done in Indola. In 2 years, Harry Mwangankumbula Airport in Livingstone was done. Just in 2 years, Zambia was a construction site. Abanesu, abamuletera kwenyu. Muri 4 years, Valanda Fepali, Twalingisha Maneses 30,000. Twalingisha ma teachers na 28,000. Twalingisha, twaleta CDF yali pali 1 point. No wishwa na ishibati ava. Mwachali dimine mamulo wabeni. Ava na avalo wabeni. Tafi abombeke. Muri 4 years valeka kasabana fie. Tapano kubenga sonta tina babomba. Ma president vali ile kula mkwisula kaka towe vale mkwisula kula ku kwa bot bakirukisha. Vali ya mkwisula zote matwele so vali mkwisula.
Mkwacha constituency?
Mkwacha constituency. Na plus tatakudi. Fenga mkwisula. File mina ngutila abana tabakwete plan. Hello, I want to plead with my colleagues who believe so much in my HH. Sumine ni fear. Atumuka namba wande na firwa. Just agree. Pandu. If you think fair what you will pay, you can say whatever you want to say about Harry Kalaba. No, Kalaba overrates himself. Kalaba what himself? How can I not overrate myself? Ngana number 3 of my elections here, 2021. First attempt, less than 2 years party years. Number 3 out of 16 contenders. Nishinash but Zambia national sender seriously. Nefyo ndelanda pa Zambia, ile sender seriously. Olonga in 2026 yena. Ama Zambia nzo yonse. Yali panopeni. Basumine na nguta basumine efyo chizi. So balando kutila the question ukula wa yopo mwene body progress. Let's just hold hands and push this agenda to progress.
ZAMSA is in the news, and I think that the audit report has sort of taken long, and I know that the audit report was carried out by PwC, obviously hired by yes, and the report again, it's controversial that when it was released, it should have well, the normal procedure is that it is released simultaneously to the president and parliament, but parliament claims has never seen the report. First of all, what could have led to that?
What could have led to that is very simple. It's because the irregularities which the Auditor General's office has brought to the fore, this government wants to sit on them. They don't want the public to know how public monies are being misapplied. And that's why I tell you that the fight against corruption in this country is academic. It's cosmetic. Because in a serious government, heads would have rolled now. Heads would have rolled now as things are happening. But you know, it's business as usual. We read in yesterday's news diggers that some items were being exaggerated to about 6,000 an item, a price being exaggerated 6,000 times plus. Honestly, how can you develop a country like that when you all want to eat from that country? A country like Zambia, which you say is struggling, and then you are also going for supplementary funding, and the Auditor General's report has given you glaring irregularities in the procedures of finance, and instead of you taking action, you have remained mute. When they ask you at give me a break.
What would you allude to the supplementary budget requested by the Minister of Finance? would you, again, I'm trying to take you back to what you just said, that there is overemployment in the medical, in the health sector, in the teaching sector as well, education sector, if you like. Would you say that these are the result of employment, and then government can't manage to pay, hence requesting for supplementary budget?
No, supplementary budget is just a lack of physical financial discipline. It's also lack of foresight. It's also telling that our colleagues don't know where they are coming or going, because 34 billion is huge monies for someone to not have budgeted for. So it means that the budget which they approved in December last year has only lasted for 5 months, and now they are requesting for more monies to finish the year. That is the responsibility of the highest order. That tells you there's a problem in the way we are managing the affairs of this country. 84 billion supplementary funding. Where has the money gone? The Auditor General's report has answered part of that question for you. They have told you that financial slippages in this government are very high. Fighting corruption in this government is cosmetic. Allow such corruption. But I'm happy that even the international community, the cooperating partners, have seen that this government doesn't fight corruption. It only fights political opponents. They don't fight corruption. Because, as you know, the Office of the Anti-Corruption Commission is under the Office of the President. Why did the President move a quasi-government institution like the Anti-Corruption Commission? Why did he move it to his office? Why? Because that's an oversight institution. He should have left it to be independent or semi-autonomous, so that it can equally deal with the loopholes, with challenges of his ministers and so on and so forth. But the President has told the Anti-Corruption Commission, don't announce that you're investigating anybody. I'm not putting words in his mouth. It's him who said it. Don't announce that you are investigating anybody until you have concluded. How then will you evaluate how well the ACC is working if they can't tell you they're investigating this one, they're investigating that one, they're investigating, and the progress that they're making? How will you assess progress? That's the problem. So, indirectly, the fight against corruption has been killed by this government. They don't care about the fight against corruption. All they care for is to remain in power and fight perceived political opponents. When we come into government, we are changing the scenario. We are changing the narrative. We want people to be free. We want the ACC to be independent. We want the ACC to be like the way it was under Dr. Kaunda, Dr. Chiruba, Dr. Levi Mwanawasa, Mr. Michael Chipasata, where the ACC can arrest a minister and the president just hears it over news. Oh, now I'm going to do that here. Well, that's how it is. We want it to be independent, so that it should not only be those who are not known who are pursued by the Anti-Corruption Commission. The big and the small must all face the law, because the law is blind.
Is it by coincidence that, first of all, the American ambassador announced about the fact that, the American government is withdrawing part of the aid, and months later, the American ambassador gets to have a meeting with the president, and days later, ZAMSA audit report is in public domain. Is this some sort of coincidence?
Actually, it's a very nice coincidence. When you look at the development of issues, first of all, I'll tell you that from the statements that the American ambassador has been making, and I want to speak as a former Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is very well acquainted with the Vienna Convention. That statement he was making, he was basically telling you, we have lost confidence in this government. That is why Zambia was even put on the list of countries to be banned. In fact, we've been given 60 days to be given that visa waiver. To be banned from getting visas to go to America. 60 days. If the government doesn't explain properly, Zambians will not be getting visas from here. To be difficult. So, the president knows that his relationship, or the UPND government knows that their relationship with the American government is bad. And so, to save face, the Americans only went at State House. There were only 4. You saw them? There were only 4. The Zambian government, PS Chakuti, PS Wakutila, Wamwimbo was in there, my brother Mulambo Ahimbe was there, Chipoka Mulenga was there. It was a full power delegation from the Zambian side. And as a former Minister of Foreign Affairs, I already saw, just seeing the configuration of that meeting, I knew there was a problem. There was a problem. Because they were not taking the relationship with America, which relationship Zambia has had. From 1964 when we got our independence, America was one of the countries we developed bilateral relations with. But this government has not been taking that relationship very seriously. So now when they saw, stop telling us about Ukurosha anymore. Because you said we have to return to normalcy as a country. Even when we advised you, you can't return to normalcy when the body of your colleague is still in the fridge in South Africa. It's not possible. It's in there, Russia. So, but the Americans have seen through him, through this government, that they don't mean well. And that the relations Zambia has with America are no longer the same. Why? Because this government talks big on corruption and acts nothing about it. We know that.
Before I open the phone lines, let's talk about your alleged assassination not long ago. I think it was in Solwezi?
Solwezi, yes.
Yes. When you went to drum up support. Just share with us what happened.
Well, I arrived in Solwezi in the morning, and one of the programs we had was to visit Father Zulu at St. Stephen's Parish in Kimasala Ward. That was about 11 hours. We went, we found Father Zulu with some other priests at the parish. We had a very fruitful meeting. And as we were in the meeting, we heard UPND vehicles going around the parish, circling the parish. So Father tells me, oh, your colleagues now know that you are here. You can hear the music playing out there. I said, it's fine. Then we toured the facility, St. Stephen's. And after we finished touring the facility, we are now going to our next station, which was Kimasala Market. So as we were leaving the parish now, trying to get in our vehicles, Zach, a vehicle comes straight where I was walking. Straight. So me...
You were not in the vehicle?
No, I was walking. Then this guy is in the vehicle. Comes straight wanting to hit me. I was lucky that my security detail was very fast in acting. They quickly pushed me, went and fell there on the ground. And the one who was behind me, the Copper Belt provincial chairman, Maynard, was hit. Another woman was hit. Another child was hit. Another woman was hit. It was just chaotic. And I didn't understand what was happening. I picked myself from the ground, and I saw that this woman's limbs were broken. The child's arm was broken. Provincial chairman was bleeding there. It was blood all over the shop. And they wanted to whisk me away from the area because they thought it was not safe, my security guys. And I told them, no, they are beating the driver there. Let us not take the law in our own hands. Let that driver be taken to the police so that he can go and account for his actions. Please, take him to the police. But in the meantime, let's get these people who are injured. Let them all go and get medical reports. Let them be treated by the hospital while we go to the police to give the account of what has transpired. But I was shocked that the police underplayed the whole event by saying, no, people were coming from a church service at St. Stephen's. There was no church service at St. Stephen's. I'm on radio here. There was no church service at St. Stephen's. The only function which was there was the Citizens First paying courtesy call on the parish priest for St. Stephen's in Kimasala Ward. That was all that was there. And there was no church goer there who can say, no, a church goer. Our police, I know, are working under very difficult circumstances. And I know your challenges. This is why you too, Pakapokola, you are part of the debt swap which is coming. Want to clean our payslips, and we clean those payslips so that you can also live a liberated life. I was saying the other day, a police officer working in rural areas, and like any civil servant working in rural areas, if you serve for 10 years and you have served unbroken service for 10 years in the civil service, you'll be entitled to a duty-free vehicle to come into Zambia without you paying duty, so that it can contribute and enhance to your well-being. We have also said police officers, just like any other civil servants, teachers, will be of their basic pay as rural hardship allowance. We want the rural people to begin feeling or to begin having quality teachers, quality service from government by the incentives that the government will provide. But the report which came on Kimasala incidents was disappointing because the spokesperson said it was a normal RTA, this person did not observe the rules. This guy was waiting for us by the corner there at the parish, and when he saw Kalaba was coming, he was coming for me. Hence what people were saying, assassination attempt, wanted to kill me. And I've heard some people downplaying it. No, Kalaba is not worth it. Kalaba overrates himself. Kalaba, who is Kalaba? Who is... I mean, at least acknowledge one thing. Kalaba is a former minister in this country. Kalaba is a leader of a political party in this country. And whether you don't like him, you will not trivialize what happened around him. Very regrettable in our politics. We should practice politics of decency. We don't like violence ourselves. That is why even when that mob was beating that guy, I had to go and stop them. That is not our politics. This country requires healing. We need peace. We need unity in Zambia. And I have pledged to my elder brother, President Ichilema, when he loses power next year, and we come in as citizens first, we will not allow any ministers. We will not allow anybody to mistreat the head of state, former head of state. We want him to do activities across the globe. Takwa vechalo, takwa bomushi, uwa ulaba kalamba. Eko nafumatulanda, chunga icha shipsha kalamba. Abutuka kasubo kuwa. So tulefwaya bakainde, because pali nonshita, tatuko tepo former president. Tulefwaya bakainde, baiba former president next year. Ngawa former president next year. Bakalanchitako guide, bakalanga fuako, because now got experience in the last 5 years. His experience will have to be put to good use.
This is the Tuesday edition of The Burning Issue here on the Happy World of 5 FM radio. We are also live on many other platforms, Tuta FM in Mansa, and of course we are live on ZFM in Kapiri. We are live in Kabwe and Central Province on Spice FM, Platinum Radio in Indola, and we are also live in Katete, of course covering the entire Eastern Province. Now, our guest this morning is Mr. Harry Kalaba. He is president of Citizens First Party. Now, Mr. Kalaba, I've got a text that's coming from Mansa, and it says, "Morning, Mr. Kalaba. Legacy is very important in consideration in convincing electorates. You were MP for Bahati constituency. What legacy would you say the people of Bahati in Mansa will look to in deciding to give you their vote or not?"
Kumanza?
Yes.
Afile kumanza?
Yes.
Eba le epishe pusho.
Inquire.
Na Bahati vali shofe buno. Pantu, umafuma pasena mapa market. Maya ukabunda kumishoni. Kwali batama. Tama kawa le tendi banani. Umafuma msena mamulea kwa chimese. Kwali be school betati Kalanga Day High School. Aba kuje Kalanga Day High School bani. Ngamwaya Bahati constituency. Shishwe pali nomba. Ileshita Yesu. Ya kwete 59 polling stations. 59 polling stations. Out of 59 polling stations, tapali polling station munga ya po. Bahati. Opo wala, opo tamwa umfeshira kwa Kalaba bali lumbule. Pantu, in every polling station there's a project that I left. That is my legacy. Either there's a teacher's house, or there's electricity put, or there is ifikawa litwala na utwali kule skulu na utwali kule chipatela in all the 59 polling stations.
Let's take some more calls. In this case, I'll ask you to have your headsets on. Good morning.
Good morning, Zach. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. And how are you today?
Very, very fine. Thank you so much.
Is this Brother Chisha?
Exactly.
Yes, Brother Chisha, please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. How are you, Bachisha?
I'm very fine.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I like the way you have explained the issue of the barrio of our former president. I'm from Wapla myself. We say just in the Tukas. That's what we say where I come from. And it's not good to love someone when they're normal. We need to practice love when we are still alive. We don't love the dead people. We always practice love towards someone who is in need. In Tonga we say, Muntu pengera muntu nyina. Simply means if I suffer, I'm supposed to suffer for my fellow human beings. I can't suffer for a tree because the tree can't help me. You have explained the issue very well, Mr. President. But my concern still stands. You remember last time when you featured on the same program, Mr. President. I told you to say, you are a good leader, Mr. Kalaba. And if anyone will come and tell you to say you are a bad leader, such a one is not a true person. To be honest with you, Mr. President, you are a true leader and you are a good leader. But for you to go solo in 2026 elections, Mr. Kalaba, you are not going to win the election. And you said someone challenged you to say in by-election, your performance was not very good, and your answer was, it's not about winning, but to make noise. Yes, it's important to be known by the voters. But some of us who are looking for change come to 26, we need to usher in new leadership. We are looking forward to such a person like you. Sir, where is the problem? Why can't you consider to work with your people? Let me just pick one by-election in Mufrera. You were beaten even by leadership movements. You came forth, I don't know if it's by 8 votes. For me, that's an indication to show that the party is not performing very, very well. Am I saying you're not a good leader? No, you are a good leader. Are you known by the grassroots? It's difficult for you to be known for now, especially if you go solo. But if you decide to work with a team, for example, I'm just giving an example. You join Tonsa, then you are adopted as the president. Tonsa leaders campaigns for you. Don't you think it's going to be easier for you to win the election, Mr. Kalaba, than to go solo? President Kalaba, united we stand, divided we fall. Consider my thoughts, and it is going to be better. I'm not forcing you. Moreover, we are in a democratic dispensation. It is your right to belong to a political party of your choice. But for the sake of progress, why can't you consider to work with your colleagues? Thank you so much.
Pleasure is ours. Thank you for calling, Brother Chisha. Let me give you one more, and then you can respond to them. Yeah, to Brother Chisha. I think he's brought out quite a lot. 0955-221515. That's the number you're calling us on if you'd like to come through. Once again, 0955-221515. Good morning. Now, come on, Kabanju.
Nawe kama kanjira mawaka bwanji imwe pachulurwa.
Uyo mutima wabene muli nao tukirizani na kintu chikulu mwana bakambira ba brother Chisha kirizanani ba president Kalaba na banzanu mutitosa mu mavuto amire tipitamu please onani mukaona load shedding kulipa load shedding yaletina mutikapo yaso kuti 2 years sisira wababa shop wasaluni azasurvive kwanje weyoda muma industries kana watu abayimirika manshito kama right batenga tabe namba imono namba ikuru ikweza makombo mayona so chikuru ife mutima wana meto wana muna mutima wa buri no pirizana na banzanu mutirubule ma problems anetipitamo ma pressure la bakuti unga wa chipa unga wa boma wao wazedele kokale pa 230 yesterday tinatuma mufana 230 ndiye kuchipa bakala bashua ndabeke ndo 110 kwata 105 90 kwata rola mi 85 rola mi 115 break bali lero ndibindu ribodola bakala bamukamba bwino mwane makambira na family baba po might of state warungu taikonka mkamba buno mandingine simatika zokuti bakuleka kutoka pezekako olo ni mumizi bakalaba munapitamu bakamba tiwe chito sakapezeke pamalilanga suza pezekapo noti vameta mboona balasi manje bambo kuchitiza kudzilingani mwa bafamilia meta ona bamamuwe mpepa ni tabwino bantu balira shuwa kuti mwambo bayofya kuti awe bakalaba tapapa tabilizanani na banzanu mutitose mumapresha ya kulibe sinapitemo mpato government yonse yapita sinapitemo mumapresha yaso ndio kamba kukwanga timbeta ya president Kalaba
Zikoma kwambira Amaka Angela. Let me give you an opportunity to respond to those two.
Thank you very much. Vachisha. In a panopa program, Shishirendelanda to so long of citizens first. Fetulandido utilanga va CF to the Padiago, our for Queen. Well, CF Padia convention. CF Padia Salahari Kalaba convention. Ifomle anefa kutila yo kata na nava neno fikesa walanda ati sungomu koshi bulunguta bwashupa sungomu koshi ushana maplans yonse bajishaka nunga masa kurede kumulele anda yonse maplan yenu na mfe ifi akukati mulafitwala pa sitting room imo fimwe fintu te filande pano tetimye batmanali kumana lubenda twalelanda tetimye batmanali kumana bantwana twalelanda Fimwe fintu tevesa ungalanda pa radio yo. Ubutungu nushi. Kusunge fintu fyo mwena tapete timfilande. Apanga filanda wala ushiko. No bantu namu ipusha. Leke ni miebe. Ukutila. Mulela ndati mujoine batonse. Iyo. Batonse balifye bona bena na apanga. Tonse ni PF. Tefi na ba PF. Tulalanda no kulanda na ba PF. Elefe tulanda nga ba CF. Fiakutila utula kuma elections bachisha ifwe bali ntungulu shibafilongani no tufuile tuambo kulanshanya no making sure ukutila idanstanga ya Afrika tukekale panshi no kumona pali ba ifwe bali 4 fwe bali 5 uinga wina my elections uinga funyapo ubu chuchu butpamubili wesu oba UPND baletele ni nani na twaswa cyo twipusho tukepusha na mobe no batisha na bashala mukatwebe utira kwena apo ngatuwina my elections limbi ni mundu bile nangu limbi ni Kalaba nangu limbi ni Fred Membe nangu limbi ni Bwali Afube nangu limbi ni Given Lubinda and so on and so forth ni mwebo mukatweba ngamwatweba bachisha efyo tukachita inonja nste ya kujoin alliances yo pantu ine pano mulembo nabachisha ninkwata ma political parties 5 political parties abalanda okutila if we ought supporter mu 2026 ni ari Kalaba 5 so te solo iyo ishiri solo iyo.
Are you able to name the 5?
No, I think bachishabe noko shona beshabe na 5 yabo. So for now Zach don't utila tatuli solo iyo na fwe na tuishiba utila election ilesa 2026 into ya kakata no bansha ise pano amapangi yose mbe kumibati yo efe tule tontonka nyamu January fetu wakumana na banesu tumone nishimwa ishibati tushefe tule fo uchida imwe ishibe nifie ukutila ifenga ba CF we are going all over the country to mobilize mwalando ukutila kumufurila bali michana bantu anikane kumufurita kwa by election kumufurila kwa by election ukalulusha I think mulelana ona candidate waba CF eko wali no mani candidate bachisho wa iminine batale sta campaign wasta file no no kwa wa yeye tapade wale sta campaign kuna ukalulusha ba CF so timulanda timwalini ne kuna makwata ama votes awe mwefintu kuipsha bayama otwambira ndolwera bamake Angela na wanda fimofinati kwizanda banzana amake Angela mavuta bele mpitamu ni oyipa maningi chaza maningi malaiti kulibe unga no dola so chabe bakuda manyumba sikipaka and then mfakire ma business ambono ngekama salon ma businesses ya barber shop ama butcheries bantuze kuuza ma fresh fish manje kulibe ni mavuto ya kule yonsa amentikamba hapo hayo. That is why abanzatu bafunika bakaende elo ngati ise mu opposition ngatakangi wa kugwirizana will be forced kugwirizana in some process. How would we be forced? To become president of Zambia, you need 50+1. Mr. Kainde Hichilema is not going to get 50 plus 1.
What makes you say that?
If he's lucky, you come out number 2, whatever Hichilema.
What makes you say that?
He doesn't have the capacity to get 50 plus 1 because Zambians are tired of his lies. Nobody's going to vote for Mr. Hichilema. And why you paying but the truth of the matter is, either 2.6 2.8 abantu nabamona mafia. All you need to do is to be a parent or is to have children for you to understand the challenges people are going through. So you will not get this 50 plus 1. Wakaende ngabafuma number 2. Ngabafuma number 1. It means 2 parties will have to go for a rerun. Hello, by opposition never can no katana. When we go for a rerun, by opposition wants to support the opposition party of number 2 and number 1 to defeat by UPND. So eventually we are going to hold hands.
But it may be too late. It's a 50-50 chance. I mean, the more you go as individuals into election, the more you split the vote and probably, not be able to make the incumbent fail to get 50%.
We all in the opposition, and I'm speaking here on radio, starting with me, we all know what is at stake. And I'm not naive to the fact that Zambia is big. I am not naive to the fact that I ran in the elections in 2021. And if there is a person who understands what it means to run a presidential campaign, it is me here. Because I've been on that ballot. I know what it takes to compete for a presidential election. And it is just in the interest of the country and in the interest of all of us as a nation, for we in the opposition to be talking to one another. The fact that I've come here as a CF does not mean I am not talking to my brother Balubinda in the PF, or I'm not talking to my other colleagues in other opposition political parties. Remember, I've told you there are 5 parties that we are already together with, who have said Kalaba will be our candidate.
I would like to know those
but
parties.
Even those 5 parties.
I only know one.
Which one do you know?
I only know one.
Which one do you know?
And I think that's Democratic what? I've just forgotten.
You don't even know that.
But I've interviewed the president here of that party. So it's actually a woman.
Oh,
but I need to know these other 4 parties.
Why should you even use the word I need to know those parties? Join us first. When you join us first, then you will know them. Because what we want is to continue consolidating those numbers.
But
it's a deliberate ploy.
Partisan, and I can't
so
join.
If you are not partisan, why do you want to know them?
But I would like to know. Because,
why would you want to know them when you are not partisan?
Because
why
need
would you
the
want
information.
to eat fish when you don't want to go fishing?
I need the information.
Why would you
unless
want
you tell me
to eat
unless you tell me that
when you don't want
the
to
conditions are that
hunting?
Unless you tell me that the agreement or conditions in your agreements are that you cannot disclose.
No, we cannot. No, Zach, to answer your question and to put your anxiety at a relaxed position, is that we are yet to formally announce. So it will be premature of me to begin announcing when we have not formally announced. So give us time to formally announce, then you will know them. But for now, just to know that 5 political parties have said we are going with Harry Kalaba. Now, if these 5 have already said that, it means they are not solo. It means it's not solo.
Well, if you are
Kalaba already is
holding
holding
hands,
hands.
fair enough.
Yes,
fair enough.
Yes, Kalaba is already holding hands with other political parties to make progress in what we are doing. So we all understand that going it alone can be catastrophic, and we are more alert than you might even think.
But obviously, the concerns of both previous callers, Brother Chisha and Maka Angela, are that I think it's not about having 5 political parties go with you when these political parties don't bring numbers to the elections. And I think their concerns are, if you probably went into an alliance with Tonse, for example, because you know there's Patriotic Front that has numbers, you know that there is a Socialist Party that has numbers, and they are looking at political parties that you associate with, but bring good numbers for your election.
Is Socialist part of Tonse? Are they?
Yes, they are. They did announce that they are working together with
Zach,
Tonse.
we are on radio and I respect your space. But listen, Zach, the citizens first will not just go into alliances that we are proposing for the sake of going into them. We were in an alliance called UKA. We had our experience in that alliance. And you know, we have to be very careful, because here where we are, it is not just a question of just coming together, you change leadership, and then the status quo continues. We are seeking for more than just a change of leadership in that community house, or is it state house? It is not just a question of just removing YHH and then you put anybody there. We want a person who is going to deal with the plight of the ordinary people. We want a person who will stand up and protect the interests of our country, Zambia. A person who will put country first before self. That is what we want. So that's why we are saying, all of us aspiring. It's not a question of saying, no, just join so that you can. No, sir. We have to do this thing methodically and qualitatively.
Let me take some more calls. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Now come on, Kabanja. That's a piece of 1 minute, please.
Tau kama ukabwani masepiso.
Report kwanga timkamba na maningi betani na kutani pepa che barika batimuganyizira mavuto betipitamu mazambia kamiti okupandika ki Africa na Zambia. Please chaganizira kwa matumbo kupanga zina imasa zina ndrama kuti ndrama zimasara bati umore yezo kakutuzenda ndrama ona beti arapakira kapanga aliyenzi kutiko keke iliyenzi mwata ulesema mwata bimto ngabulizana sio mu Afrika tabulizana makamuka mzambia muno kiasili za mabuto mbulizana mtu kwenda tatazama zimeze nikapange zina ida
Yeah, the line is bad. And unfortunately, Sepiso, your line is very bad. We are unable to get you clearly. Let me please call us back and be in a better position.
I hope you otherwise to call us back.
Yeah, I hope so. But the line literally was. Yeah, you were hardly hearing what he was saying.
Hardly.
Yeah. So we'll take some more on 0955-221515. That's the number you can call us on if you'd like to take part in our conversation today. Our guest is Mr. Hari Kalaba, President of the Citizens First Party. And remember that we are also live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia. Please follow our conversation, and if you can leave us a comment or indeed a question. Oliver Hamakwamu on Facebook says, Ukulanda Chalyangu Kayama. You were once in government. And I think that, well, that conversation ends there, the comment ends there. And I think that what he's trying to say is most of the things that you are talking about, you probably had an opportunity to do them while in government, or propose or suggest them while in government.
How?
So,
I mean, when he says
you were in government.
I was in government. So what if I was in government? I was talking about Mr. Sata, who did all those things he did when he was president, which he never did when he was minister of local government, which he never did when he was minister of that portfolio, which he never did when he was minister of health, which he never did when he was minister of labor. But when he became president, he was able to do those things. Our government is structured in a way that the president remains the ultimate of that governance, and that what the president wants passes. This is the vision I'm presenting to the country. Now, because Hamkwamo is so unhappy that his leader has failed to deliver what they should have delivered, now is to discourage those who have got a vision, those who've got a plan to deliver things in the manner that they should be delivered. Zambia is never short of leaders. Don't force us to only keep on looking at one leader, Mr. Hamkwamo. We have several people, even beyond me as Kalaba. There is leadership.
Let me take some more calls. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning to you. Thank you for calling. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Thank you.
Atimutumira kuti Mtonga. Oh, muri kuchongwe. Please, tia nayo
Muri bwanji wa wounded buffalo.
Petirizani.
Tibetilize Rahari Kalaba, Kusankari Mundo, Bezerani Kumbuyo. Just because of why government has promises Yanapakisa. The more Yanapakisa, the more I shall destroy countries just because it's one of the promises. Onani Munonimro Sakatikwani to survive just because every day Jimapes at this week. Then Munkatwana Kuma Clinic Kumakara Police Mankara. Watimo Kumunzi, Mweva Kutikira Kumunzi, just because the Kuribe Kanya Yango Kuribe and transport ambulance government ya vibaka ya kuti government sikwanirisa sitengapo solution iliyonse but imwe ndimwe valida letifuna mahali kala 2026 mkusirizisa government yatu yachita destroy vindu vambiri fuel inapeza pa cheap price yakwera yaikira fuel then yapwezako kawani kwacha kweze fuel kamene naipeza dini futi again dola igwerere pa 17 then magambo kweza kwa papega aliyenza za celebrate tukti ati we are celebrate minister celebrate chani ava just because we want to celebrate praise in la president watu ayo topishi wa chito so come 2026 wali kala watiko fulani background sababu mtani just
Thank you. Again, we at the tail end of that call, we lost it, but I'm sure you got his conversation. Let me give you another call. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. What's your name, sir?
Kinfred.
Sakupariva Chimunavo President of South Africa, Minister of Police, I sang Valen sent the skating down from a number of President of Tamchavo Chesumuno, the Minister Supermassivo, Wakano sent the skating, a number 2 information, I am a corruption, and then they are visiting people and fighting previous corruption and recent corruption. Among ministers in the government of about 40. So, I think the other issue very I think why I see a problem with the new Kalaba. Remember by the time we are working with Victor as a home, we are not going to number came from the same and this is the people that not at all, parasite to Kesha Wonder. Jofena Takia Kama. I think that's Nanimona problem come on Kalaba. Because it came from the same
we seem to be losing you, my friend Kinfred. But we got, because of your question, I think we got your concern. To the contrary, let me give you 2 messages. There's one that is on our Facebook. Say it's from Sage Batizani, who says, "Wow, duty-free vehicles for all those that save 10 years and above for individuals and civil service. Wow, 2026 will be wonderful. Load shedding should actually end so that we have 24/7 our economy with jobs for the youths, and the economy is doing okay. Nobody tells you, nobody will tell you, but you will feel it. Zambia shall be great once again." Now, let me give you this, which is a bit contrary to what everybody else is asking you to do. This one is from Elias Shilangwa, who says, Kalaba can't join Tonse because he knows he will not be adopted as presidential candidate there. All right. Let me give you this call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay, my name is Mote. I'm calling you from Lusaka.
Yes, Mape.
Good morning, President Kalaba.
Good morning, Ramap.
I'm quite well, President Nalalanda Ichemba. I think the reason why I want to speak member because I think I want to emphasize my point. And therefore I put you have the leadership qualities and I'm very proud of you. Very young, intelligent, and you have all these qualities to really do something for the Gambian people. But I'll be very honest with you. I think our former president was a big factor. May he so rest in peace. Because if I look at the leadership that we have, all these leadership we have, our oppositions, to put them, no one is standing. That I'm being honest with you. If you want to remove this government, none of you individuals will stand with the president. Is that strong? But you need to work together and say, all of you leaders, you need to sit down and choose one leader and rally behind that leader. Only then you will manage to remove this government. But you want to put in the power to will still rule for the next 5 years. That is my best opinion, and I'm not saying but for me as an individual, President Kalaba, you have the qualities, but for now, I think you need help. All of you people have help, so you need to choose one leader, just one leader. That's all of you are Musapota, but in our forget is going to go through for the next 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Mwape. Let me take this one. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you today?
This is the most and you there.
Fine, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from? Moses Kabanana, episizana twa.
Moses Tiribwino mulibwanji kwa banana huko.
Nilikuwa kwa kuche pali maridadi wa
Yeah, but Moses, your line is not okay. I think you are breaking. Yes.
The fact that they promise us things as Zambians and citizens, and then they don't deliver. So much that deliver is a bit personal. No, we just been about too much better motion. We've been about the thing of your own and repeatedly. Now, on a good event, my politicians, my leaders, the same thing. But our current government, they promise us so many things, so I believe. So in the government come back when he pretty much does what Munga Social Manevali or President Kalaba. That's what we can open them Zambian. Because in that you want to it seems to us not who will accept people in the Roka Matafi. That's because you now specify the environment. From the heart, who are going down the one. It has so much heavy bonded because the ones who are going from the heart. So, I believe that when you come up with believe them, because it was a very big stick heavy. Yes, we know we do and certain things, but as such things, we cannot believe that stick and to break our head going forward. So, I think it's not easy to so my prayer and your Maritas what you see this soon other leaders more when they bring priority for my citizens. I know you
Yeah, we seem to. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Moses. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's our last call, unfortunately. We have to allow you to respond, and then we can conclude. But as you respond, let me ask you a question, because I mean, going into 2026, you are very confident that you will get it, and also you are confident on the fact that President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND government will not be able to get 50% plus one.
No ways.
Are you saying this forgetting that you have been complaining as opposition the composition of the ECZ commission? That you think that in the previous general election, where we didn't have complaints in as far as whether elections were unfair, but you are anticipating that elections will not be fair based on the composition of the ECZ. Are you having your confidence neglecting that fact?
Look, I'll tell you one thing for sure, that this Electoral Commission of Zambia requires a lot. They need to change their attitude completely, and I think the chairperson of the ECZ, Madam Zalonis, has to take note of what we are saying, because elections are a very emotive issue, and we expect the ECZ to act accordingly. There are a lot of issues that are happening within the Electoral Commission of Zambia, and within these elections that we are having, where the ECZ looks the other way. Just earlier on, I was telling you, Zach, on the issue of what happened in Kimasala Ward, where they were grading roads during the elections, they were giving social cash transfer during the elections. The ECZ knows that those machinations are being propelled by the UPND to advantage themselves. And yet the Electoral Code of Conduct is against such kind of machinations. But the ECZ is allowing that to pass. We as Citizens First intend to have a meeting with the ECZ and bring out these matters, because forewarned is forearmed. We want the ECZ to do what is right. We want the ECZ to behave like other colleagues of theirs who behaved themselves in the past. In 1991, we had the ECZ, and the power changed hands from the opposition, from the ruling party to the opposition. In 2011, power changed hands from the ruling party to the opposition. In 2021, power exchanged hands from the ruling party to the opposition. These Electoral Commission of Zambia officials and those who are working there understood the importance of allowing the people to air their grievances and to allow them participate freely. This Electoral Commission of Zambia we are going with in 2026 must know that they are not different. The people's will must be allowed to prevail. We don't want ECZ to bring confusion. We want them to behave themselves and do what is appropriate. And we are going to sit with them and tell them our complaints and tell them that, you know, you look to be favoring UPND more than any other political party. That is not your job as Electoral Commission of Zambia. Let the people decide. You are supposed to be a referee. You are an umpire. Just be fair. Follow the rules. Whoever is favored by the people of Zambia, allow them to go and govern. But don't make up your own rules. I think that is wrong. So, the ECZ, we are very aware of it. And we can only encourage people out there to register as voters, register en masse, because power resides with you. When you register as voters, you are going to express your power when you go to vote that time. So many callers have come. Bamwape was saying work together with all of you, and Shani. You know, this kind of thing of working together, everything, it has been there from time immemorial. But at the end of the day, Zambia has to do that which is right. And from our part, as Citizens First, we will reach out to everybody, Bamwape, don't even worry. We'll reach out to everybody. Here where we have reached, we should develop, we should drop all these things of saying, I belong to this party, I belong to this organ alliance, I should belong. We should all understand that we are in the opposition. And as you rightly put it, Bamwape, if we are going to defeat Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, we have to swallow our egos, we have to swallow our pride, and we have to admit that we have to hold hands. But that has to be done in a systematic way. That has to make us, that should not stop us as Citizens First, for instance, from going on to mobilize ourselves. Because even at that time when we'll be meeting our colleagues to see how best we can amalgamate our efforts, we should have already been on the way of making progress. And I agree with you, Ramutonga. This government has failed, too many promises, and thank you for saying it's you we want. Thank you. at least Mr. Mtonga has categorically come out and said it is you that we want. I am here, Mr. Mtonga, and we are here as CF to carry your interests so that Zambia can be a Zambia that we all dreamed of one day. King Fred talked about the issue of the minister in South Africa, transport minister was suspended, and that here in Zambia, the fight against corruption has remained academic because some ministers in line ministries are only transferred from one ministry to another ministry. From one, here you make a mistake, they take you to another ministry. What kind of discipline is that? What kind of discipline is that? Because if you are disciplining somebody, you need to drop them. You need to expose them to Anti-Corruption Commission. But you just say, no, we are removing you from Ministry of Environment. You are going to Ministry of Finance. And you think someone will lose sleep over that? They have transferred me from Ministry of Labor to Ministry of Mines. They will not lose sleep. They'll continue with their bad habits. And bad habits die hard. So I think it also shows you the lack of seriousness with the fight against corruption by our government. They pay lip service to it. They only fight corruption when it suits them. When it doesn't, they will not pursue it. So I want to believe that, as Moses has said, politicians promise a lot of things and they don't deliver. It's not every politician, Moses. Not all teachers are the same. But teacher tebamobe Zach. Kwalama abombesha na bashibombesha. Bakapoka tebamobene. Kwalamo abatemushin stoyabo, they don't want corruption, and others is like that. It's the same with politicians. There are politicians who condone corruption, and there are politicians like Harry Kalaba who don't condone corruption. There are people that go in this thing for service to the nation, and there are others who go in politics to save their own interests. So we are not the same, sir. For us as citizens first, what we tell you is what we are going to give you when you put us in power next year.
Your concluding remarks.
Well, first of all, I would want to share our numbers with our people, starting with my colleagues who are here. We want to share our numbers with people so that our people who want to join the Citizens First, who want to be part of what we are doing now, can immediately begin calling and joining us. So if you want to join us as Citizens First, you can call Mr. Audit Karungo, MCC. He's on 0976 701256. Mr. Audit Karungo is MCC, Deputy Mobilization Chairperson, 0976 701256. Then if you want to get in touch with the Secretariat, you can also call 0977 779133. That's Madam Marjorie, the Deputy National Chair Lady. 0977 779133. Or you can even call me. I'm on 0977 794129. 0977 794129. We are grateful for the opportunity to be on the burning issue. And I want to tell you, Zach, that we have heard what the people want. We are going to work on what the people want as politicians in different political parties. Because what is necessary now is to unify ourselves in the opposition. We break these artificial barriers of if we're in favor CF, if we're in favor Tonse, if we're in favor Nine. Some of us are very radical. We have demonstrated selflessness before. When I resigned as Foreign Affairs Minister, for the sake of the nation, we are going to do what is right. They will just go so solo. We are not going solo. That's why I told you that there are already other parties. But you also said, no, but what are those parties bringing? They are bringing people. Every party has got people. Every organization has got what it brings. It's value addition. We need value addition. We need to concentrate on understanding that divergence also has got an advantage for us. So thank you for having us. We'll continue pushing, continue working hard until the Zambian people's dreams are realized. I thank you.
Thank you very much.